Two of TV's biggest hit comedies, linked by one fan-favorite character.
Hello, Sheldon.
Hello, Sheldon.
Big Bang and Sheldon, Monday starting at 7 on KPIX+.
Ahead tonight on the primetime edition.
Very loud and annoying.
It grates on your nerves.
The sounds of classical music meant to keep people away from an Oakland Home Depot may be working too well.
Welcome to our virtual weather environment, a whole new way of bringing you the forecast, and we'll start with the Labor Day weekend forecast. That's coming up in First Alert Weather.
And tonight, Mountain View High School is remembering and honoring a mother who died just this last week. Coming up, what happened and how people are supporting her family.
It could be a breakthrough treatment for people who have suffered a stroke. The first of its kind drug being tested right here in the Bay Area.
And a big step forward for psychedelics in California, but a warning tonight from a Bay Area mom who says she knows from tragic experience that these drugs aren't as safe as some claim.
Something needs to happen to make sure that our community, our kids, are safe, as safe as they possibly can be.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Primetime Edition on KPIX+.
Good evening, I'm Devin Feely. These are tonight's primetime headlines. Two mechanics are recovering from smoke inhalation after an electric bus burst into flames at a San Jose VTA yard. This was the maintenance yard off Zanker Road. We're told the bus was in for repairs when the fire somehow started and the mechanics couldn't put it out. Now, firefighters were able to. VTA has 10 of these battery-powered buses. They've temporarily pulled them all out of service until they know how that fire started. A bill inspired by the tragic mass shooting at the VTA rail yard in 2021 is a step closer to becoming law. It would require companies to develop a workplace violence prevention plan, track all violent incidents against employees, and provide active shooter training as well as shoplifter training. And a holiday weekend heads up for drivers. All westbound lanes of Interstate 80 are closed from Vallejo to Hercules. That does include the Carquinez Bridge. Caltrans is paving miles of concrete and making repairs to the road. Westbound I-80 is scheduled to reopen at 5 a.m. on Tuesday. Taking a live look outside, let's get a check of our First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Welcome into our new virtual weather studio. This is an entirely different way of displaying the forecast compared to anything that anyone else in the country is doing. It starts with our hyper-realistic map on the floor here. We can show you all the beautiful shots across the Bay Area, including the last rays of sunlight from today. Let's start with a look at today's temperatures. A little look back at where we spent this first day of September, which felt more like, well, late October. Temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley. Keep in mind, a couple days ago, you were into the 90s across the board. Today, in the mid to upper 70s. Temperatures around the Bay were a little bit cooler, topping out generally with a mix of 60s and some low 70s as well. But even inland in the East Bay, keep in mind that just a couple days ago, close to 100 degrees. Today, only 74 degrees for a high in Livermore, 76 degrees in Antioch, and 74 degrees in Concord. Oakland fell just short of 70 degrees this afternoon. The city only made it up into the mid 60s. And for the North Bay, those high temperatures also mostly topped out in the 70s with a few 60s sprinkled in. Unusual for the first day of September, and we're going to keep this going as we head into Labor Day weekend. Here's a little preview of the Labor Day weekend forecast. Temperatures are eventually going to warm up, returning to closer to average by the holiday itself on Monday. But the next couple of days, we're going to see similar conditions to today, including the potential for a little bit of mist and drizzle. We'll take a look at that with Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Paul. One big business in Oakland is trying a new tactic to keep the unhoused from hanging around the property. Take a listen. Yeah, your ears don't deceive you. Home Depot is blasting classical music in the parking lot nonstop, 24 hours a day. We're talking about the store on Alameda Avenue near the High Street in East Oakland. That's right off of 880. The store is surrounded by RVs and a large illegal encampment. Dahlin has done many stories on crime and homelessness in the area, and workers tell him that the store is starting to play classical music basically around the clock.
Some believe Home Depot is using the music to push out the homeless. But not only is it annoying the homeless, it's bugging the neighbors as well.
Very loud and annoying.
It grates on your nerves. Definitely grates on your nerves.
To me, it's good.
You could hear it all the way to Shell, which is a block and a half away.
This is far from a music hall.
I enjoy classical music, but I'm surprised to hear it here at the Home Depot parking lot.
The speaker located right above a mobile surveillance security system.
All day, all night, I can certainly hear it, and I know it's wearing on my nerves.
Store workers tell me they started playing classical music in the front and back parking lots about 3 weeks ago. The store is surrounded by RVs and tents. Some believe it's a way to make it uncomfortable for the people who are unhoused.
Doing nothing is not the right answer either. So I think putting classical music to is the kindest solution I've heard.
While Neighborhood Watch Captain Deb supports the solution, she wants Home Depot to lower the speaker to street level. She says the speaker is placed too high and the music is traveling to nearby homes. Deb and about a dozen families live behind the store. After she went to talk with the store manager, the store shut down the speaker in the back parking lot. The one in front is still blasting.
To make us feel like we're less than anybody else is not cool. With the people around here, I think it would kind of eventually backfire. It's just going to get broken or sabotaged.
Councilman Noel Gallo understands why Home Depot is doing it. Each time after the city cleared the RVs, they came right back. And neighbors complain the stolen and stripped cars are linked to the encampments.
Certainly it's a creative way to maybe get some other people frustrated to move out, but I don't think that's going to be the solution.
Home Depot declined to comment for the story, but a regional director said this last year.
Out of our 2,200 stores in our throughout the country, Oakland is our biggest pressure when it comes to malicious theft, along with other incidents as well.
Deb says the best solution is if the city can provide more housing and mental health services.
We support them. We support them. This needs to be cleaned up. You know, doing nothing is not the solution.
Many neighbors say they support Home Depot. They want the city to do more so Home Depot doesn't leave Oakland.
Well, tonight, the Mountain View High School community is mourning a mother of four after a series of unthinkable events. Just a week ago, Lucinda Daniels was watching her son Dylan play varsity football when he was injured during a game. His dad fainted but quickly came around. At the time, it was thought that Lucinda had fainted too, but it turns out that she actually suffered a stroke. She never recovered from it. Our Jocelyn Moran is live at Mountain View High School where the varsity football team is playing now, and they paid tribute to Lucinda and her family. Jocelyn?
Yeah, Devin, you could definitely feel the love and support for the family here tonight. Now that we're told the family does not want to talk to the media, understandably so at this time. Dylan is on the varsity team. That is her son, and he is not playing because he is hurt. There were two moments of silence, one at the beginning before the JV team. That is because Dylan's younger brother plays on the JV team. And then there was another moment of silence right before the varsity game.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for a moment of silence in honor of Lucinda and memory.
The Mountain View High School community is honoring and remembering Lucinda Daniels.
Tonight, we're trying to provide as much normalcy for our kids as we can. Lucinda would have wanted us to play the game, so that's why we're doing this.
Tim Lugo is the head football coach. Just as people entered for today's games, Lucinda's picture was at the front. Organizers helping the family raise money online say Lucinda's son, Dylan Daniels, got hurt during his game last Friday. During all of it, Lucinda suffered a stroke. She suffered a second stroke on Saturday night that left her with no brain activity. She was an organ donor.
One of the things that Mr. Daniels has expressed to me directly is how appreciative he is of the outpouring of love and support from everyone, and also he wanted people to know that Lucinda being an organ donor has already saved 4 lives.
It's typical Lucinda. She was a very giving person.
Lugo says she would bring her pom-poms to every game and knew every cheer the cheerleaders had. You could hear her loud from the stands.
To find out that she was an organ donor, she's going to continue giving, right? And she's going to allow somebody else's family to have their loved ones a little bit longer, which is, to me, is the ultimate sacrifice.
Dylan came out with his varsity football team after having surgery earlier this week. The players had Lucinda's initials on their helmets with Dylan's number 5 on it. An overwhelming feeling of support for Lucinda's kids and her family. Now, the family has been here tonight, and there have been so many people that have gone up to them, hugged them, showed their support in that way. We are told that there is going to be another event in the next couple of weeks to honor Lucinda, but Coach Lugo said it best. He said, think about this family, keep them in your prayers, and keep them in your thoughts. Devin.
Jocelyn, thank you. Researchers in the Bay Area are working on something that could change how strokes are handled in the critical early hours. Juliet?
Devin, right now an international clinical trial is underway for a drug that doctors say could revolutionize the care they can give to people suffering strokes. And a hospital on the peninsula is playing a key role in this study. Our Max Darrow introduces us to the first patient who signed up for the trial and shares why the man feels proud to play a part in it.
Good control.
With every step,
I have to be conscious about
Arthur Lau breaks a better and better sweat.
You should see before you came in. And then your arms will naturally swing.
His goal from every workout
is to push me to the limit so that my brain can work better with my body. Relax.
In May, Arthur had a hemorrhagic stroke, the type with a brain bleed, at 43 years old. The diagnosis was tough to imagine in the moment.
Am I hearing it right? Maybe I just misheard it.
Arthur got his diagnosis while being transported on Sutter Health's mobile stroke unit, effectively a hospital on wheels equipped with a CT scanner and team of stroke specialists. This is the only one of its kind in Northern California.
It was a much more advanced ambulance.
And on board, the team offered Arthur a chance to participate in a clinical trial for a drug that could slow or stop the expansion of a brain bleed. It would be the first of its kind.
At that time, I'm thinking anything is good.
Dr. Ilana Spokojny says the drug is a blood clotting factor called Factor 7. It already exists, but it's primarily used to treat hemophiliacs.
Having a medication to treat brain bleeds would revolutionize the care that we can offer these patients. And if we're able to treat that patient even 1 minute faster, they're going to have a better outcome.
Sutter Health's Mills Peninsula Hospital here in Burlingame is one of 68 locations around the world that is participating in this clinical trial. But given the nature of how strokes work, the parameters of this trial are a little bit tricky.
With stroke, every minute matters. The goal in this trial, or the requirement, is to treat folks within 2 hours of onset. That is an extremely tight timeline for a clinical trial.
But Spokojny says their use of the mobile stroke unit is one of the key reasons why they can be a part of the trial.
So the mobile stroke unit allows us to get to patients quickly and at the scene identify that they're having a bleed and actually enroll them in the trial on scene.
They've enrolled 2 patients so far, both with great outcomes, according to Spokojny. Not a big enough sample size for definitive results yet, but a promising start.
Both have gone on to an acute rehab unit to continue to get aggressive physical therapy and occupational therapy.
Arthur has a long road ahead. His recovery has its ups and downs.
At the beginning, I can barely move my right arm.
Now he can lift it.
Every day, every other day, there is some new good surprise happen.
Arthur spends a lot of time thinking. And despite the cards he's been dealt, he considers himself lucky. And he's proud to play an important role in helping research that could save lives.
It's all about, can other people get the benefit of this clinical trial and recover faster? And then if it worked for me, great.
Time will tell. And Arthur plans to take it one step at a time, with hope accompanying each one.
Researchers in this international clinical trial hope to enroll 860 patients. The study is expected to finish in 2028. Devin.
Thanks, Jules. Well, still ahead. For years, they were outlawed and demonized in San Jose, but the city has made a big U-turn on lowriders. Lynn Ramirez gives us the lowdown on a first-of-its-kind celebration of the cars and the culture.
A new arrival alarms the brotherhood of muscle. Power and performance pulsate with electricity. A kind of muscle they've never seen in this build. A new breed, ready to sting with the all-new PowerShot. Behold, the quickest, most powerful compact UV. The all-new hybrid electric Dodge Hornet RT. Performance electrified.
So if you're happy and you know it, throw your hands up and show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And if you love the life you're living, go ahead and dive right in and shake it like
happiness in San Diego.
We mark every inch they grow and watch them outgrow, well, everything. But there's something else that can grow that we don't see. It's what doctors call toxic stress. It's how a child's body responds to difficult experiences, from harsh language to a painful loss. But there are steps parents can take to help. Learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress at first5california.com.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast.
It's electric.
With an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
Get a low $369 per month lease or get 2.99% financing for 36 months on Aria.
Taking a live look outside, let's get a check of the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Devin, we're in our virtual studio here, bringing you the weather in a whole new way. We'll talk more about that momentarily, but let's actually talk about today's weather for the first day of September. Live look towards the Golden Gate Bridge from Treasure Island, those ominous clouds hanging up. There's nothing ominous, even though they did produce a little bit of shower activity today. The cloud cover, combined with that onshore breeze, really helped keep temperatures on the cool side. And now this evening, temperatures are dropping down quickly. These are our current readings across the Bay Area, so let's kind of walk through the entire region. Down into the mid-60s for most of the Santa Clara Valley. Only 65 degrees right now in Morgan Hill. You're down into the mid-60s in Livermore already. Definitely windows open weather across the Bay Area this evening, especially with the better air quality that we get to enjoy. Even Antioch has dropped below 70 degrees. Remember last year at this time when we were topping out around 115 degrees for Labor Day weekend? This is a whole lot better, even though it is unusual. Just barely above 60 right now in San Francisco. Temperatures in the North Bay also dropping off quickly, down mostly into the 60s. This is pretty typical for this time of year if this was the late night hours. But the sun hasn't been down very long. We're going to continue to see cooling as we head through the rest of tonight, kind of leveling off in the upper 50s and low 60s. The moisture that we had across the Bay Area today wasn't a whole lot, a few hundredths of an inch of total rainfall, but there was quite a bit more in other parts of California. The satellite and radar perspective shows all that activity, some of it bubbling up in the usual spots in the High Sierra, but a lot more for far northern California. Rain around the Smith River complex, that's very welcome to help fire crews maybe get a handle on those fires burning there. What they don't need are more cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. Hopefully, any fires that got started with those strikes today were quenched by the rain that fell out of those thunderstorms. We're going to see a similar pattern repeating itself tomorrow and again on Sunday, with a chance for a couple of hit-or-miss showers around the Bay Area. A lot of cloud cover, peaks of sunshine. It's not going to be completely gray, except along the coast in most locations. We are going to be tracking some drizzle, mainly along the coast and some of the higher elevations of the coastal ranges, and maybe a little more shower activity trying to make its way in on Sunday. We'll be watching that throughout the day. The onshore breeze kicked in and really brought in some better air quality. Good air quality today, good air quality again tomorrow. Maybe a little smoke drifting down towards us by early next week, but I think moderate air quality is the worst that we are going to be into. So let's talk about where our temperatures are going to go from here, and we'll kind of zoom around the Bay Area region by region. And we will start with the North Bay. Those high temperatures on Saturday, way below normal, only reaching up into the mid to upper 70s. It might be a couple degrees warmer than today, but you're supposed to be into the 80s in early September, and you really won't be all that close. Where you might see normal temperatures, closer to the water, mid-60s in Half Moon Bay. Temperatures in San Francisco and Oakland just around 70 degrees, with mid-70s down the peninsula. That's unusual for early September, as are these temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley, mostly in the middle portion of the 70s. Morgan Hill maybe sneaking up closer to 80 degrees. And even the usual hot spots inland in the East Bay, the Tri-Valley and the Delta, about mid to upper 70s again on Saturday. We'll keep this weather pattern around as long as we can. Now, what's more likely to happen is that we are going to warm up as we head through Labor Day weekend. Similar temperatures again on Sunday. It's our new version of the 7-day forecast, so we can represent the weather in these glass tubes. It's going to be really cool during the rainy season when the raindrops kind of collect on the outside of those virtual tubes. You see the temperatures for now warming back up as we head through the middle of next week. It is going to be a warming trend around the Bay. It's just not going to be as steep for Oakland and the East Bay and down the peninsula. Those temperatures mostly getting back up into the 70s. Down the peninsula, maybe a few readings back into the 80s. Of course, along the coast, you're used to seeing a little bit less volatility, and that's what we will deliver on as we head through next week, with temperatures staying in the 60s A lot of gray skies overhead for the next couple of days. I think you have a better chance of seeing a little bit of sunshine peeking through the clouds once we get into about Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. We'll be here to keep you updated as we head through the next several days. This is, again, the new version of the forecast, and we're going to be doing this here on PIX Plus, and eventually we'll kind of bring some of this into the mix on KPIX as well. Devin?
Yeah, Paul, so you said that this is the first time that viewers actually really get to see this. It's really some next-level stuff. I've got a million questions. Pull back the curtain a little bit for us. How does it work?
How it specifically works, that is beyond me. We have some very smart people behind the scenes making all of this happen. It involves a lot of coding, because where I'm actually standing right now is just a giant green void. So people are used to seeing this kind of stuff when we're talking about behind the scenes features for how special effects are done within movies. Sometimes they even use a purple screen. Basically, the computer takes out the color green, puts in whatever we want behind it. In this case, it's our virtual studio. Now, we've done weather in front of a flat green screen for years and years. This is three-dimensional. The floor is green, this huge wall behind me, and this gives us a much larger area to play around with. And we're not done with what we're doing with that floor map with our 3D graphics. Eventually, we're going to be able to bring in a 3D representation of how the wind is behaving around the Bay Area. The wind arrow is kind of following the contours of the terrain, how the clouds are going to billow up. We can get into explainers of how fire weather behaves, pyrocumulus clouds. Look at the behind-the-scenes footage, though, of how everything got put together over the course of weeks, months even. We've been working on the details of how to present the weather side of this for the past few months, but the planning for just building the space itself has been ongoing for even longer than that. So this is something that I will admit we are getting used to. You're going to see me driving the weather maps partly with our traditional little kind of garage door opener clicker, but also with this iPad that we are holding on to. So we've got a lot of different things to kind of keep track of. It's going to be entertaining, to say the least, as we head through the next weeks, months here on PIX Plus and on KPIX.
All right. Well, coming up, low and slow. It's not just for barbecue. It's also the unofficial mantra for lowrider culture. Lynn Ramirez takes us to a celebration of this once maligned lifestyle in the South Bay. And coming up, work crews fenced off the federal building in San Francisco. The area has been plagued by crime and drugs. And the question is, will this new strategy actually make a difference? You can watch us anytime, anywhere on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Catch all of our live newscasts, plus news and weather updates throughout the day. You can find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV.
What happens when two of TV's biggest hit comedies are scientifically linked by one fan-favorite character?
Hello, Sheldon.
Hello, Sheldon.
It's Quantum and Sheldonment.
Sheldon!
Sheldon.
Sheldon Cooper at your service.
Now Sheldon's popular. What is happening?
These two quirky quarks share quite the bond.
I'm the boss. I make the jokes.
Yes!
Big Bang and Sheldon, Monday starting at 7 on PIX Plus.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. If you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you how much your case is potentially worth. So, Tom, tell the viewers watching at home who should call in right now.
Well, Gina, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault should give us a call right now. We have live agents available to answer any questions you have. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. You heard it, folks. Call now.
Established in 1887, Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery is rich in California history. This historical legacy translates into the important values of tradition, experience, stability, and trust. Holy Cross has been committed to providing compassionate and responsive service to families during their time of greatest need. It's nestled in the serene valley of Colma, welcoming families with its peaceful appeal. Experience this sacred space for you and your family to share for generations.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here to remind you that if you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Spokesman Tom Mustin is with us in the Help Center. So, Tom, tell the viewers at home why they should call in.
Well, Gina, they should call because we have live agents available for you right now. If someone's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth.
The city of San Jose is recognizing lowriders and the culture and the history behind them. Today, hundreds of them lined up around City Hall for the first ever Lowrider Day. But cruising wasn't always welcome in the city. Our Lynn Ramirez explains why today's celebration was a long time in the making.
30 or 40 years ago, it would have been hard to imagine the city allowing a lowrider happening out here on the streets, let alone on the steps of City Hall. But lowriders have certainly cruised into the future, a future that now includes acceptance.
We're here, we fought to be here, we're here to stay, and we're going to continue fighting for our culture.
Armando Barbosa has been cruising in San Jose for over 25 years, much of it through difficult times.
There was a time period in our lives when getting in your car and going down to our favorite spot would be King and Story. It wasn't tolerated with the city of San Jose. You would get targeted because maybe your car was just too low, or maybe it looked just a little bit different than the rest, and it was outlawed at that time.
San Jose was one of the places that gave birth to the lowrider culture, which has now spread worldwide. But the city cracked down in the 1980s and cruising was banned. Barbosa and members of the United Lowrider Council of San Jose have been working with city leaders for more than a decade to get the ban lifted. Last year, they did just that. And today, San Jose Lowrider Day was a celebration of that victory. More than 300 cars packed the City Hall Plaza, and Santa Clara Street was closed off for a lowrider car show.
We can now park, as you can see, in front of City Hall. We are welcomed. Nobody's getting pulled over. Nobody's getting a ticket, not just yet. And we're just here to celebrate Goodrich community and let folks know that we can do this in a positive way.
Even San Jose's mayor got into the action.
The lowrider culture is an important part of our city, of our tradition, of our culture. We're going to continue to embrace it and celebrate it.
It means a lot to people like Mia Arroyo, a hairdresser who spends her time and money fixing up her Chevy Impala.
Before it was a little bit different, you know, and they had us a little bit kind of like segregated, like, oh no, you guys can't do that. You know, you guys are, they would profile us to be something that we weren't. So we're just happy to be accepted, like part of the community.
Part of the community with color, style, and history.
We're definitely here. We fought to get here. We're still fighting to stay, and we're definitely going to fight for the future. We're just preserving a culture for our kids that's going to come behind us.
San Jose Lowrider Day won't be the only place to see some really great cars over Labor Day weekend. The Santos Car Show will take place tomorrow on North First Street from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. They're expecting over 600 vehicles to be on display. Well, coming up, a group of concerned moms is pushing back tonight against efforts to legalize mushrooms and other psychedelics. They say they're not as safe, no matter what supporters claim.
A big welcome home for Bay Area firefighters who just returned from Maui. How they helped hundreds of families impacted by wildfires.
Coming up, the area around the federal building in San Francisco has gotten so bad, the feds actually told employees to just work from home. Now they've thrown up a fence around that building, but is it going to make it any safer?
1948, KPIX went on the air.
We've been covering your story for a lifetime.
There's another aftershock.
We're proud to be the first to broadcast to the Bay Area. And we remain committed to follow your story wherever it leads. Celebrating 75 years of KPIX News. Our dedication, our history, our stories define us.
At Jacoby & Myers, we've built our reputation fighting for everyone. From the really well-connected, power brokers, award-winning athletes, and high rollers, to people who appreciate fine dining and the best in live entertainment. In other words, people just like you, your family, your friends, your law firm. 50 years and more than $2 billion in settlements in California. Jacoby & Myers, because everyone deserves justice.
This Labor Day, kick off the greatest season of the year with the greatest deals of the year on a new Honda. At your NorCal Honda dealers Labor Day kickoff sales event. Get Labor Day savings and get ready to kick some asphalt in a new athletic high-performance Honda that can take you from the beach to the game without spending your hot dog money on gas. So hustle into your NorCal Honda dealers Labor Day kickoff event. Ask anyone who owns a Honda for the win.
So busy chasing after goals, turn down that pace a bit slow. Bite size, you can taste it. Lights out and you're feeling it. Seize the day, don't waste it. Sidestep into the new you already knew who. Little steps like a baby shoe. And you're feeling cute in your birthday suit.
Goalie, taste your goals.
You're watching the Primetime Edition on PIX Plus.
Welcome back. I'm Devin Feely. These are your primetime headlines at the half hour. San Jose police are investigating a threat that prompted an hours-long lockdown at Yerba Buena High School. That lockdown started around 11 o'clock this morning. Now, police gave the all-clear about 2 hours later. The campus was reopened and nobody was hurt. 10 new emergency sirens are now up and running in Berkeley with plans for 5 more next year. This is file video of the city's old sirens. The new ones will warn residents about dangers like wildfires and tsunamis. Together with the AC alert and Berkeley's emergency map, the system will tell people whether to get out or to stay put. And President Biden will travel to Florida tomorrow to survey the damage from Hurricane Idalia. The president has already approved a major disaster declaration for the state. Taking a live look outside, let's get a check at the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Beautiful view of San Jose there inside of our virtual weather center. We are seeing, well, nice conditions indoors and a nice view of downtown San Francisco from Treasure Island. The fog has not rolled in to swallow up the downtown buildings just yet, but we are going to see that low cloud cover and fog. Well, the clouds farther up in the atmosphere. Another chance of mist and drizzle later on tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's low temperature forecast. We're dropping into the 60s across the board already, and we're going to continue that trend. Some spots even dipping down into the upper 50s, all the way down below 60 degrees for Los Gatos, into the mid to upper 50s around Morgan Hill. You'll be one of the warmer spots tomorrow afternoon. You'll be one of the cooler spots early tomorrow morning. Livermore dropping down to the upper 50s. Other inland parts of the East Bay mostly in the low 60s. Around the Bay, expect temperatures to hover right around 60 degrees. And really, that's the case for almost the entire Bay Area. Even as we look to the North Bay, most temperatures are going to be within a degree or two on either side of 60 to start the day on Saturday. It's a matter of how much we warm up from there. Remember last Labor Day weekend, that extraordinary heat, that is not in the cards for this Labor Day weekend. It is a whole different story. It was today. It will be again tomorrow with temperatures almost across the board in the 70s. That's close to normal in San Francisco and Oakland, but it's a good 5 to 10 degrees below average once again for inland parts of the Bay Area. Maybe a couple degrees warmer than today, but still unusual for early September. We'll take it though. We'll talk about that mist and drizzle chance and where the best opportunities for a little bit of measurable moisture might be coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thanks, Paul. New fences have popped up around San Francisco's federal building. The goal appears to be an effort to stop the rampant drug use and dealing in that area. Here's what that same area looked like earlier in the week. But as Betty Yu explains, not everyone is convinced that those fences are actually going to solve the problem.
About 2 weeks after many workers here at the San Francisco Federal Building were told to continue working from home due to safety concerns on the street level, we noticed fencing put up around many of the concrete benches surrounding the building. This is a typical scene outside the San Francisco Federal Building. It's home to one of the most brazen open-air drug markets in the city. This week, I saw new fencing around certain corners near Mission and 7th, where users and dealers usually congregate. That's where I met a woman who prefers to go by the name Courtney and her 2 dogs.
I think it's stupid. Like, it's not going to stop anything. It's not going to stop people from hanging out over here. They leave a open area for people to still get in.
We noticed that people still gathered on benches that were not fenced in. Across the street, there are encampments. Courtney said she was recently evicted from an SRO, and though she doesn't hang out here often, she understands the draw to the area.
Like, San Francisco is like known for the drug trade.
Last month, federal officials advised hundreds of employees to work remotely due to safety concerns and crime. Some workers who do come in are being escorted.
These people ain't trying to bother nobody. Where are they gonna go? I mean, like, if you stop them from here, they're gonna move somewhere else, and it's gonna cause a problem somewhere else.
Today, Mayor London Breed tweeted that the city increased efforts to shut down open-air drug markets in the Tenderloin and Soma 3 months ago. In that time, local and state law enforcement increased arrests and seized significant amounts of drugs, including fentanyl. She also said outreach teams continue to offer services.
But, I mean, it's up to the individual to actually take part in it and want to do it. And there's a lot of people out here that don't want nothing for themselves but to get high. Yeah, that's normal.
I showed Courtney this video taken a few months ago. Do you think this is a healthy scene for businesses and workers and residents in the area?
No. I don't think. I think people should pick up after themselves more. I think they should straighten up their crap more.
It wasn't hard for us to find used needles on the ground today. Whether this fencing is a long-term solution or more will be added is unclear.
I mean, it's just a waste of city money.
And make money.
So here's the breakdown on those drug seizures that Betty mentioned. Police have arrested over 300 drug dealers in the last 3 months and seized 227 pounds of narcotics. Nearly half of that was fentanyl. The city says that they've already seized more drugs this year than all of last year. A controversial bill to legalize magic mushrooms and other psychedelics passed a major hurdle in Sacramento today. There's been a lot of talk about this proposal lately because of the potential benefits that it could have. Now, studies have shown that certain psychedelics can help with conditions like depression, PTSD, anxiety, even substance abuse. But opponents worry that making drugs widely available could have devastating consequences if they fall into the wrong hands. Our Lauren Tom spoke with a mother who says she knows from painful firsthand experience that these drugs aren't as safe as some claim.
Fearless enthusiasm, that was my point.
As Lisa Hudson walks around her home, her son Shane is celebrated.
Shane is an amazing, sparkly soul. He had a 1,000 friends. He was everybody's best friend.
Today, she's speaking out against legislation that could decriminalize certain hallucinogenics, including mushrooms, the drug her son took that led to his fatal accident in early 2020.
His eyes were big as saucers, and I could tell that he was on some sort of mind-altering hallucinogenic. And now I have him in my arms, and he says, I'm talking to God, and it's all about love, and love is life, and life is love, and I know it's all so easy. It's right in front of me. And Shane all of a sudden stands upright and runs down our stairs and runs out on the deck. And as I run after him down the stairs, as I hit the bottom of our stairs, I see him running off of our deck with his arms straight out saying, I've got this, I've got this. And he plunged 40 feet into our backyard and passed away in my husband's arms while I was calling 911.
Lisa's part of a group of moms who've rallied against SB 58. Authored by Senator Scott Wiener, the bill would make it lawful to possess certain psychedelics and mandate further research. Wiener argues that decriminalization often leads to smarter usage.
We know that the war on drugs has been a complete failure, and criminalizing drug use and possession accomplishes absolutely nothing.
Studies have shown that controlled use of psychedelics can help treat depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. But new research by a group of doctors at Stanford shows hallucinogenic-related hospitalizations spiked 74% between 2016 and 2021. Adverse effects can include psychological trauma, erratic behavior, accidental injuries, and even death. Just what Lisa is most afraid of.
My biggest concerns is that we're going to get a lot more stories about kids like Shane.
She says she's happy to see the drugs decriminalized, but safeguards like public education and first responder training need to come first.
Something needs to happen to make sure that our community, our kids, are safe. As safe as they possibly can be.
And that others will look to her son as a source of light and learning as time goes on.
We want to thank Lisa for sharing her story. It is an important cautionary tale. But tonight on the other side of this issue, we also spoke to a woman who says that psychedelics saved her life.
I was addicted to opioids. I dabbled in heroin and fentanyl and methamphetamine and spent most of my life addicted to drugs. And I was prescribed a life sentence of drug dependence. The doctors that I had told me I would have to take psychiatric drugs for the rest of my life. And I was able to get off all of the drugs that I was addicted to, but they left me completely debilitated. I lost my ability to talk, walk, function. I lost my vision for over a year. And psychedelic medicine completely brought me back to life and put me on a pathway to healing and helped me transform out of addiction into a space of liberation and joy.
Danielle is the executive director of the San Francisco Psychedelic Society. Their goal is to educate people how to use psychedelics safely. She supports the bill, which is now just one round of votes away before going to the governor's desk. All right, it all started with a group of wealthy investors gobbling up land around Travis Air Force Base. It caught our attention and the government's attention because we couldn't figure out at first where that money was coming from or what they planned to do with all of this land that they bought.
Yeah, I know, and we're getting this sort of a sneak peek, an introduction into maybe what they're thinking they'll do here. And like you said, we've been hearing about this very mysterious group that's been trying to build a city for Silicon Valley billionaires. And now, Devin, we've got the first renderings of what they're planning. So the drawings show Mediterranean-style homes with wind farms in the background, very idyllic, narrow streets, cafes, and farm stands. The group is calling itself California Forever. The site billed this project as a chance for a new community, good-paying local jobs, solar farms, and open space. But the group's acquisition of these 55,000 acres near Travis Air Force Base has come under some pretty intense fire from politicians and farmers who have that land nearby. Just last week, California lawmakers proposed some restrictions to try and protect the land and protect nearby military operations, and some of the heavy hitters backing the project include LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. So this whole thing there's been a lot of debate about this, whether they should be allowed to do this, and now we're kind of getting an idea of what it could look like. But it all feels like it's out of some futuristic novel in a way.
You know, I wonder if they targeted that land because generally people don't want to live right next door to an airport.
Yeah, and they would if this were to be built. So what they didn't include in the images was the C-130 taken off behind, but we'll see.
All right, Sarah, thank you.
Sure.
A group of Bay Area firefighters is back from a volunteer mission to Maui to help survivors of the wildfire there, and they're talking about what they saw firsthand. Right, Liz?
Devin, a group of San Francisco firefighters just got back from volunteering in the Maui wildfire relief efforts. 11 firefighters from the department's Asian Firefighters Association, along with one first responder, helped in everything from fighting fires to distributing food.
When the center opened up for relief effort from 10 to 4, it was nonstop handing out water, food, and other basic necessity. Roughly, I think we served about 2,500 individuals a day and about 450 cars. So that gives you an idea of how much the people of Lahaina and Maui needs our support.
These are photos of them working at a supply distribution center in Lahaina. They say they'd like to plan another mission to continue to volunteer there in the next couple of months. Meantime, the search for the missing is wrapping up in Maui, and across Hawaii today, people gathered for a day-long vigil to help with emotional and spiritual healing following the deadly wildfires. At sunrise, more than 1,300 community groups offered prayers and chants to honor the sun for being the source of life. At noon Hawaii time, the chants will recognize the creation of the Hawaiian Islands. And finally, at sunset, the ceremony paid tribute to Hawaiian ancestors and those who have passed away.
In this day of prayer, as we embrace our families, trust in our faith, and look to a future that calls upon our care and compassion for one another, we find the strength to carry on.
Organizers hope the vigil will help aid the healing process for thousands of people who lost their homes in the wildfires. Devin?
Well, coming up, Stanford and Cal are the latest teams to bolt from the Pac-12, where they're going and why they're going to rack up some serious frequent flyer miles getting there.
When dry eye symptoms keep coming back, inflammation might be to blame. Over-the-counter eye drops can provide temporary relief. Xiidra can provide lasting relief. It targets inflammation that can cause dry eye disease. Xiidra treats the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. Don't use if allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort or blurred vision when applied, and unusual taste sensation. Why wait? Ask your doctor about a 90-day prescription and pay as little as $0. Xiidra.
Every business deserves a great deal. That's why Comcast Business is launching the Mobile Made Free event. With our business internet, new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free. It's our best internet, powered by the next generation 10G network, and with 99.9% reliability. Plus 1 line of free mobile for an entire year. It's the Mobile Made Free event happening now.
Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, ask how to get one free line of unlimited mobile. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
The new 2023 GMC Sierra AT4X is equipped to conquer the great outdoors. Or the great indoors. Welcome to the peak of premium off-roading. Or get 0.9% APR on 2023 2.7-liter turbo high-output engine Sierra light-duty elevation models. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get over $5,200 total value.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
Ever wonder, are we alone in the universe? Are there little green men and women out there somewhere? You're probably not alone in thinking that, right, Jules?
Devin, it appears the government is trying to be more transparent about information regarding UFOs. The Defense Department has launched a website to give people easier access to declassified information. Now, they don't use the word UFOs, opting instead for UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. So right now, the site has a handful of videos. Unfortunately, there's no confirmation of aliens, though. Now, you can access the site at aaro.mil. Meanwhile, NASA has spotted a new crater on the moon, and they think it's from a Russian moon mission gone awry. The agency launched its first lunar lander since the 70s this month, and later said engine failure led to a crash. Devin?
Well, taking a live look outside, let's get a check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Very nice weather to start off the month of September in terms of our temperatures. Now, you may have been a little bit surprised for some mist and drizzle in your neighborhood. And we're going to see that potential the next couple of days as well. Right now, a live look outside from Salesforce Tower, and you can see that cloud cover just kind of shrouding the tops of the Oakland Hills. Temperatures are backing down already from where we topped out today, which was well below average. It felt more like late October than early September, and it feels like an autumnal evening out there. Temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley are dropping back down into the mid-60s already. Later on tonight, Morgan Hill, you're going to end up in the mid to upper 50s. Other temperatures also pretty much in the 60s across the board. Again, this is not normal for this much of a cool down at this time of year. This is really closer to where our temperature should start off on a September morning. Temperature along the coast, Half Moon Bay is right at 60 degrees. Inland in the East Bay, you're down into the mid 60s in Concord, Antioch, and Livermore. It's just barely above 60 degrees right now in Vallejo. And for the North Bay, your temperature is also backing down into the 60s. Some of those North Bay valleys also going to be on the cooler side later on tonight, dropping down into the upper 50s in Petaluma and in Santa Rosa. This cool weather brought to us by a storm system in the upper levels of the atmosphere that has been bringing showers and thunderstorms to Northern California, responsible for bringing some light shower activity. That coastal mist drizzle that we had earlier today, that's just spinning away, and you can see the bulk of the rain falling elsewhere in the state, but this is just going to be meandering around for the next couple of days. So let's switch over to Futurecast and track what's going to happen as we head into Labor Day weekend. The cloud cover is going to fill back in as we head through the rest of tonight, in the process of doing so already. See some radar freckles here and there. The showers are going to be more miss than hit. Your best chance of a shower is mainly going to be over the North Bay, and then that drizzle along the coast and some of the higher elevations of the coastal ranges. A very similar pattern repeating itself again on Sunday. Some of the forecast models trying to latch onto some more substantial moisture just off the coast Sunday morning. We'll keep an eye on that in case we do see more widespread shower activity, but right now that is not the most likely scenario. The onshore breeze has had a fantastic effect on our air quality. Green dots on the map from purple air. These aren't the official EPA sensors, but they do give us a snapshot of what's happening. And that's really where our air quality is going to stay as we head through the next couple of days at least. Maybe some of that smoke drifting back down towards us as we head into early next week. But I think moderate air quality at worst. Let's talk about temperatures on Saturday. We'll zoom around the various microclimates of the Bay Area. We'll start with the North Bay. Highs in the mid to upper 70s Saturday afternoon. That's slightly warmer warmer than today, but it's still substantially below what is average for this time of year. Where you will see average temperatures right around the bay and along the coast. 70 in San Francisco, precisely the normal high for September 2nd. But as you go farther inland, those temperatures have a wider departure from normal. About 5 to 10 degrees below average for most inland parts of the Bay Area. And that includes the usual warmest location, the usual hot spots in the Tri-Valley and the Delta, staying below 80 degrees Saturday and likely again on Sunday. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. We do eventually get some warmer temperatures returning to the Bay Area, but it's going to take until we get through with the Labor Day weekend. By the time we get into that abbreviated work week, that's when those inland highs are going to return to the 80s to around 90 degrees. Temperatures around the bay, of course, more of a modest up and down pattern, but more 70s on a widespread basis and a little bit farther into the 70s once we get into next week, and a little bit of additional sunshine. More clouds than sun tomorrow and again on Sunday, and then the sun does return, except right along the coast on Labor Day. But I think as we head farther into next week, we will see these clouds giving way to a bit more sunshine, even for coastal parts of the Bay Area. We'll be here to keep you updated through the holiday weekend.
Well, the Pac-12 is basically kaput, and now athletes at Cal and Stanford, they're going to play most of their games clear on the other side of the country. Matt Lively joins us now with more on the latest shakeup to the college sports landscape.
Yeah, if I had told you 3 years ago that the Bay Area schools would be in the same conference as Duke and UNC, you'd be confused. But for the past few weeks, it looked like Cal and Stanford may be left behind in the fallout from the Pac-12 collapse. But it's no longer doomsday. As of this morning, Cal and Stanford are joining the ACC. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Isn't the ACC that conference repping the Atlantic coast? You'd be right. This is the Pacific coast we live on, but it's 2023 in college sports, and clearly geography does not matter when it comes to conference realignment. And to make things even weirder, SMU is also joining the ACC, which will be an 18-team conference beginning next year. Per usual, money won out, and the almighty dollar was the final blow. Cal and Stanford found a landing spot, and the ACC is set to financially benefit from it. The two Bay Area schools are only set to receive 30% of the league's team payout over the next 7 years. It gradually goes up after that, but Cal and Stanford won't receive their full share of TV money until 2033.
An extraordinary friendship between two young women who overcame their own challenges to achieve success. We'll meet tonight's Students Rising Above Scholars.
You can watch us anytime, anywhere on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Catch all of our live newscasts, plus news and weather updates throughout the day. You can find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV.
Why do you do it? You ignore the signs and the flashing lights. My mom is out there. That's my dad in that truck. Slow down. How would you feel if that was your dad? Be alert. Be work zone alert.
Do you own a house that you just need out of quickly or just needs costly repairs? No worries. John buys Bay Area houses for a cash in any condition. We buy all kinds of houses, from inherited or foreclosures to expensive homes that you just need to sell quickly for cash. All with no stress, no hassle, no banks, and no commissions or fees. If you have a property you need to sell, call John buys Bay Area houses for a fast, fair, all-cash offer. Call 510-707-6000. That's 510-707-6000.
A new arrival alarms the brotherhood of muscle. Power and performance pulsate with electricity. A kind of muscle they've never seen in this build. A new breed, ready to sting with the all-new PowerShot. Behold, the quickest, most powerful compact UV. The all-new hybrid electric Dodge Hornet RT. Performance electrified.
You're going way too fast.
Don't you see the work zone?
Seriously? That's my pop-up behind those cones. How would you feel if that was your dad? Be alert. Be work zone alert.
What happens when two of TV's biggest hit comedies are scientifically linked by one fan-favorite character?
Hello, Sheldon.
Hello, Sheldon.
It's Quantum and Sheldonment.
Sheldon!
Sheldon. Sheldon Cooper at your service.
Now Sheldon's popular. What is happening?
These two quirky quarks share quite the bond.
I'm the boss. I make the jokes.
Yes!
Big Bang and Sheldon, Monday starting at 7 on PIX+.
Two Bay Area students discovered that some of the most important lessons don't necessarily happen in the classroom. Right, Liz?
Devin, you go to school to get an education, but often the most important lessons you learn are from the friendships you build along the way. And tonight, Students Rising Above, I met two young women who formed an unbreakable bond from overcoming their own challenges to achieve success.
Itohan Idia and Kian Fang are getting ready to leave for their first year of college, and they are taking a lot with them. Excitement.
This is shower shoes because I don't want to get fungus.
Nerves. And memories from what has become an extraordinary friendship.
One of the really big quality is that she understands me in a different level than others.
They both know what it's like to not always fit in. Itohan was born with a condition that causes her eyes to move horizontally, making them sensitive to bright lights and the sun. She is neurodivergent and also has a skin condition that creates a lack of pigmentation in her skin, hair, and eyes.
Yeah, people sometimes made fun of me and stuff, and sometimes it was hard to kind of use my voice to speak up. But I kind of learned that I have to advocate for my needs and everything. Oh, yeah.
Kian moved to the United States from China when she was in 6th grade. She learned English in just 2 years by listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos. But she struggled to make friends.
I felt really alone my first year in high school. I was eating lunch alone because I was scared to join friend groups. Because I just thought that they don't really understand me. Where's you?
I'm right there.
They went to Ruth Asawa's School of the Arts in San Francisco, but they didn't become close friends until their junior year, when they met through Students Rising Above.
We also are very welcoming of each other, and we are very honest with each other, so I think that helps too.
Little did they know they only lived a block away from each other in San Francisco's Bayview neighborhood and were each raised by single mothers who came to the United States to build a better life for their daughters.
Well, we're so different in a lot of ways. We have different cultures. Her family's Nigerian, and then mine's is Chinese. So obviously it's so different. But then she opened my eyes.
Itohan's mother, Omotase, would often drive the girls to their SRA events.
And I hear their conversation, even though I'm driving back, I can see the way they are close and sharing ideas together, resources, and getting to school and getting their homework done. Sometimes they study together, and that's so much. That's a blessing to have Kian as a friend.
Their friendship even inspired Kian's final art project for school.
Hang out with Itohan has helped me kind of decide what I want to paint on. So then the topic that I picked was love.
She painted a portrait of Itohan along with their other close friends. It's a piece that Kian doesn't want to finish because that might mean the ending of a chapter.
I'm so happy we became friends. From junior year to senior year, it was nice making memories with you.
But as Itohan wrote in her yearbook message to Kian, the story of their friendship journey is just beginning.
Itohan is studying at UCLA. She's studying theater, and Kian is majoring in biology and minoring in art and technology. They are hoping to do a road trip back to the Bay Area when they go on break. Devin?
Liz, thank you. And thank you so much for watching tonight, for joining us on this journey. The late news on KPIX has your latest local stories. That's tonight at 11. As always, you can stream us on the CBS News Bay Area.
Here we go.
Travel back in time to the very beginning.
Hi. 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 Hi.
Starting from the first episode.
Our babies will be smart and beautiful. Not to mention imaginary.
The Big Bang Theory. Coming in September to the new PIX+.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. If you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you how much your case is potentially worth. So, Tom, tell the viewers watching at home who should call in right now.
Well, Gina, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault should give us a call right now. We have live agents available to answer any questions you have. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. You heard it, folks. Call now.
Stop your search for the one and find your perfect mattress match at Mancini Sleep World. Save up to $900 on the biggest brands and sleep free for 3 years during our Labor Day sale. Save $500 on Beauty Rest and experience the Avocado Organic Mattress Collection. Mancini Sleep World is committed to your sleep with the best prices, free next day delivery, and our dedicated comfort guarantee. Your perfect match is waiting for you online or in stores at Mancini Sleep World.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here to remind you that if you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Spokesman Tom Mustin is with us in the Help Center. So, Tom, tell the viewers at home why they should call in.
Well, Gina, they should call because we have live agents available for you right now. If someone's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth.
Two of TV's biggest hit comedies, linked by one fan favorite character.
Hello, Sheldon.
Hello, Sheldon.
Big Bang and Sheldon, Monday starting at 7 on PIX+.
I sent money back home to help my family. I was scared to lose my job.
If someone steals money from their employer, they could be guilty of a serious crime.